Alright, what is up traders? Hope everybody's doing well. Today I'm going to be going over this short taken in the second macro. I'm going to be going over the bias, why I took it, and then at the end I'll put the screen recording for you guys to see. Alright, so let's get into the bias. Alright, so first of all, coming into the day, I was bullish biased simply because of the fact we had an SMT with ES on the higher time frame. We're at all-time highs. We've come down to this nice imbalance on the 1 hour. We can see here on the 4 hour as well. So bullish biased up to all-time high. However, during the trading session, this changed a little bit, obviously because I took a short. Coming into the session, I was expecting, because we had these double lows here, also on ES, I was expecting us to do something like this upon open and then reverse back up to all-time highs, but that did not happen. We opened, we came up, we took out the high here on NQ. Now if you notice, I have both NQ and MNQ, and you'll see that I still have this as the main buy side here, even though it got wicked up here. Well, if you look at NQ, that didn't happen, so I'm always charting on NQ. I've been doing that lately. I'm charting on NQ in here. By the way, same thing on MES. It took out the high, but on normal ES it didn't. So that's why I kept these as intact highs, and they weren't swept at this point in time, and they actually got swept here. Okay, so as you can see, market opened. We didn't really come and manipulate down to these lows, so I really wasn't interested in taking any longs here, even though we had a couple of SMTs here, like this one, for example, with ES. Where is it? It's this one, yeah. So here you can see we didn't make a new low on ES here, but we swept these lows on NQ. I wasn't interested because I wanted to see a manipulation lower. So this, I didn't ride this up until second macro. Second macro came, we were very near all-time highs. We had swept some internal highs, or some equal highs here on ES, we can see that. And we were very close to London highs and the new week opening gap high on ES, and on NQ we were close to all-time highs. At this point, I really didn't want to short the market, but once I saw how we impulse lower here, and at this point, when we look at this wick, look at NQ, normal NQ, it's more clear because this is kind of a funky wick. You'll see how when we came down with this wick, now we have 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows, 4 lows, 5 lows, 6 lows. So you have all this liquidity, okay, which I just saw was way too much for price to, at this point, once it got to here, to just reverse completely and take out all-time highs without even, taking at least these two double lows right here. Okay, that's when I kind of switched my bias and I was okay to take shorts. So I actually took 2 positions. The first one got stopped out of break even because I moved it pretty quickly to break even. I wanted to see price dump really quickly. I didn't want to see it stagnate, especially because we're at all-time highs. So I waited to see this fair value gap to be tapped into and respected. That happened here. Once that happened, my first position was, I believe, somewhere around here with my stop loss above this wick. And I got stopped out of break even on this position because once we came down and tapped the new week opening gap, and then we had a crazy rejection like this, I just closed it at break even. I didn't want to be a part of this because it just seemed to me that we might come up and make a new high. However, once we came back down and closed below the new week opening gap, and we kind of manipulated on the lower time frame, we had a minor SMT too, very minor on the. If we zoom in, we can see how this high right here on NQ took out these relatively equal highs, and ES really didn't. So we had this small minor SMT. Once we did that, and then it came down and closed with this candle below this new week opening gap, that's when I had the confidence again to enter once more with my stop loss above this high, expecting price to push down very quick. And you'll see in the screen recording my TP was kind of in the middle of nowhere. Not in the middle of nowhere, but it was like around here instead of being here. Reason being is consistency rules on these funded accounts, right? You really don't want to be making way too much in a day. That way you'll have issues getting payouts. So I like to keep my profits at around 1200 maximum per day, so I don't have to struggle with the consistency rule too much on these prop firm accounts. So that's why I had to put my TP around here, because I ended up kind of going in a bit too heavy when I entered right here with my stop loss above here. Okay, but if I didn't have no consistency rule issues, I would have put my take profit right here for sure. All right, so we entered here. Once we closed below the new week opening gap, stop loss above this intermediate high, because we just swept and I didn't really want to see price come back up, especially after we closed below the new week opening gap. All right, so as you can see, we came back up, we tapped it a couple times, respecting it, never closing above it. And then we started to dump. As soon as we dumped and tapped, I believe around midpoint of this wick, I moved to break even, so risk free on the trade. And then I didn't really cash out anything here once we tapped the non-30 fair value gap. Reason being is, again, we have so many lows, and then I just, these days, again, with experience, you can just tell that we're going to dump very quickly, and we're not really going to respect anything here, because it's just way too many sell side for us to sweep something and then reverse back, right? Usually that's going to happen. But the correct thing for people to do is obviously take profit here at the 930 fair value gap and then leave the rest to run. But for me, again, I was just confident, very confident that we're going to continue lower, and I was fine with getting stopped out or break even if we tapped the 930 and then reversed. So that's something to keep in mind, is I'm fine with being stopped out or break even. And at this point, I wasn't really up much for me to take profit anyway, so it didn't really make sense for me to partial out. So I just had one take profit, which was around right here, and we ended up banging that target. And after that, we really did nothing, as you can see. So yeah, that was the trade recap, the bias, and the entry, all that good sauce. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will leave you with the screen recording for the trade. Peace out.
Like we have here, that's thriving, it's energetic, they're happy, they're uplifted, they encourage one another, and everyone here knows that they're not being taken for a ride. There's no upsell coming. Doesn't that feel good? It frees you up to just concentrate on learning. There's no angle, there's no sales pitch coming. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that cool? That's like, the point is you're in a community that we're all trying to help one another, and all I'm trying to be is the captain of the team and just lead you in the right direction and hopefully avoid the pain and struggles that I went through.